Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is Global War 85, Operation Dolphins, U.S. Global Command 3.4. Okay, first thing, the Americans get their +7 basic intelligence for escalation. So that takes them from 28 to 35, achieving the DEFCON 3 threshold. Over here and move them up to DEFCON 3. Oh, forgot that guy. I need him. Okay. Tech. PGM, AMD, long-range missiles, SDI. There's long-range missiles. SDI is a miss. There's AMD finally, and PGM. 3 out of 4 is pretty damn good. PGM goes to stage 3. AMD goes to stage 3. And long-range missiles goes to stage 3. Yeah, we'll take that any day. Okay, next order of business. There isn't any global operations. I mean, the Americans, if they wanted to, because the Soviets possess Afghanistan, the Americans could roll for a military pact with Pakistan, but Pakistan is surrounded at the moment, and the U.S. Global Command has other things on its plate right now besides trying to fight a very difficult war in the Middle East. So they're not going to do that. So we go to military aid and purchase. Going to send Iran mechanized infantry for 5. That's it for military aid. The Americans are going to spend 8 on a pair of SSNs. They're spending, 8 on a destroyer and 2 frigates. 6 on an ASF, and then from the Expeditionary Force box, they're placing their 2 light infantry and 2 paramilitary that were left in that box. Actually, no, the others have already been placed. Yeah. All right. That brings us to combat movement. Ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. U.S. Global Command is declaring war on Cuba. And they are going to make a limited war strike on PRF. They're not going to declare war on PRF. They're just going to make an airstrike. At DEFCON 3, U.S. Global can make unlimited air or naval strikes against the Communist Front. At DEFCON 4, they're limited to a single strike per turn. Or they have the option at DEFCON 3 of declaring war on a Communist Front, but they're not going to do that. Well, I don't know. Maybe they should. No, they're not going to. I don't think they're quite ready yet for all-out war with the Soviets. Yeah, they're not going to. The Americans don't want PRF signing a military pact with Soviet Global just yet, so they're going to keep this a limited strike. So, this is what's going to happen. Since we're already pointed at this one and you can see everything, let's do our combat movement. From Great Lakes, this strategic bomber is going to move one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has a movement of 12. He's flying over there to A40. I can get him on a level spot. And he is shooting a pair of cruise missiles into Morocco with spy satellite support so that the missiles will have a full land target select. The ASF from southern United States flies 1, 2, 3, 4. He has a move of 6 to escort the strategic bomber. PRF does have an early gen fighter there in Morocco that they could scramble, but going up against the ASF, they say no, they're not going to scramble. So that's that one. And then for the attack on Cuba, it's going to be pretty much everything but the kitchen sink affair. Okay, we have 3 airborne here in southern United States taking off from a major airbase. They're going to airborne assault 1, 2 into Cuba. Got 2 Marines in southern United States that are going to get on the amphib here in A33 and do an amphibious assault. There is an attack chopper on the amphib that's going in there to join the attack. We've got 3 air cav here in Gulf States, 1, 2 into Cuba to join the attack. The A-10 from Gulf States is flying in. The fighter from Gulf States is going in on a seed mission, which, as you know, in regular combat, negates the first strike of the Cuban SAM. Let's see. On the task force here, we have 2 ASFs, a fighter, and an attack bomber that are all going in to join the attack. The major air base here in southern United States fires a cruise missile 1, 2. Then each of the SSNs and the destroyer that is on the card fire 1. That makes a total of 4 cruise missiles. And the cruiser that is on the card is going to do shore bombardment. And that's Cuba. So let's do the airstrike, the cruise missile strike on PRF first. So here they go. 2 missiles coming in hot. And look at that. They come in so hot they both missed. No joy. Well, these things happen. All right, I will move. Here we go. I will move the Cuba battle to the boards. Okay, here we go. Okay, the Americans have got the cruiser doing shore bombardment, first strike. The cruise missiles, first strike, no spy satellite support. 2, knock something over. 2 air cabs have close air support and they're boosted up to 5. 1 is at a 4. You got 1 fighter and 2 ASFs on air superiority. There's the fighter flying the seed mission. For first strike, the Cubans have a field artillery. And the Soviets are invoking limited defense of Cuba. So their EGF is participating in air superiority combat without a full declaration of war. Okay, that's about the best I can do there. Okay, so let's have the cruiser. That's a miss. And we got 4 cruise missiles. And look, those are ones. 3 ones. There's no next gen MBTs there, but ones in no, that's surgical strike. Ones are, yeah, that's surgical strike. So that's just 3 general hits. Sorry, started to get excited for nothing. Thought that was 3 land target selects, but it's 3 general hits. Well, first strike general hits. So we like that. Okay, so the field artillery does its thing, and it misses. So they're going to take, the field artillery is 1. Do they want the SAM to get its shots? The SAM can only shoot in the first round, so they're going to take him out and 1 of the paramilitaries. Okay, that's that. Now we go regular. So we got 2 ASFs. There is 1 air hit. 1 air hit. And then a fighter. That's 2 air hits. So that is going to be 2 air battle stars for the Americans. Those on there. Now we have 2 Marines and 3 airborne. All at 3. 1 hit. 1 hit. Okay, now there's an air cab at 4. Miss. 2 air cabs at 5. Miss. A10. Miss. Get rid of these dice. New dice. Attack chopper. Okay, there is a hit. Fighter. Miss. Attack bomber. Miss. Oh! Terrible. Terrible dice. Terrible dice. Okay, so here's EGF and regular fighter on air superiority. They both miss. And you've got 3 paramilitary. They miss. And you have 4 light infantry. They get 1 hit. 1 hit with a 4. Okay, so the 2 air hits take out the fighter and the EGF. That's cleared off. 2 general hits. They're taking on 2 paramilitaries. And then 1 general hit in return. The Americans are taking on an airborne. So now we go to round 2. He goes over there. This guy goes back to the fleet. And here we go. Now these guys are in the box because they shot the fighters down He can just be in the box. Okay, so now we have 2 Marines and 2 airborne. Nothing. Air cav. Nothing. 2 air calves. 1 hit, 1 cocked die. Okay, that's 2 hits by the air calves. Now an A10. Miss. Attack chopper. Miss. 2 fighters. There's 1 hit. And an attack bomber. For another hit to make 4 total. Not enough to do the job. So there's, reach for the right things here. Okay, there's a paramilitary and 4 light infantry. Two hits by light infantry. Okay, so the 4 hits here are taking out him and that green chip, leaving them a single light infantry defending. And then 2 general hits in return. The Americans are going to take out the 2 airborne. They're the cheapest ones to replace. Okay, so this time let's go attack bomber. Here's a 4 for the hit. So Cuba is done. His final defense is a miss with a 6. Okay, there's another battle star for the Americans. And let me put things back. Okay, we're cleaned up. The Americans picked up 2 IPP that they have to track. Like that. Separately from their escalation income. There's what we have sitting on Cuba: 2 Marines, 3 air cabs, and an attack chopper. All of the air here. So I guess we're ready for non-combat movement. So the fighter and the A-10 flew from Gulf States 1, 2. So 3, 4, they are going to land in Panama at a joint U.S. Panamanian air base. Okay, the Navy air is all going to land back on the carrier. I'll do that off camera. DEFCON 3, you can reinforce allies. So, using strategic land movement, the SAM, the 3 next-gen MBTs, and the field artillery from Gulf States are going 1 into Mexico, 2 to Guatemala, and 3 into Honduras. Those are all defense treaty miners, so the Americans can move their units right through there to get on Daniel Ortega's doorstep. So there they are, sitting down there in Honduras, staring across the border at Nicaragua with a fighter and an A-10 close by in Panama. Okay, so that's there. Over here, the strategic bomber and the ASF are going to go 1 to land here in Extremadura at the joint air base. There's that. Those are done. That comes off. Right here, This light infantry from Mauritania is going to move up to Western Sahara to join his buddy. Try to intimidate PRF. Keep them bottled up. Let's see, will this work? I think this will work. The SSN in I-10 says 1, 2, 3, come down here to keep that Soviet SSN company. The task force from I-10, 1, 2 into I-7. The amphib that was part of the task force stays behind and goes in port at Diego Garcia. And just because you never know what's going to happen, even though they're not at war with anybody, the Americans are going to put out their ASW air patrols. So the way this works now is that a carrier, is it the same for all of them? Let me look. I'll have to look it up. I don't remember for sure. But I know for sure a supercarrier can put out 2 ASW air patrols in adjacent sea zones. Now, the Soviets have Caterpillar drive, so their SSNs can ignore ASW patrols, but you never know. You know, they might align India or something and get a diesel boat in play or something. So just because they're going to put their 2 ASW air patrols in I-4 and I-8. And that's what it is now. These are not units. These are just markers that go here to show that these 2 zones are under ASW air patrol. And then the supercarrier that is in I-7, I guess I better explain. I haven't done that very well. These block submarine movement. It's one of the only 3 things that can block submarine movement. The second being an aircraft carrier. There's a supercarrier in this zone. Its presence also blocks submarine movement through that zone. Now, an enemy submarine can enter the sea zone, but it has to stop and can't go any farther. If an enemy has units in position and wishes to, they can fly a combat mission against these ASW air patrols to try and take them off the board. And if they wish and have the fighters available, the Americans could scramble fighters to defend their ASW air patrols. It works just like anything else. There would be a round of interception combat, and at the end of the interception combat, any surviving enemy fighters would remove 1 ASW air patrol from the board for the remainder of the turn. Like I said, they're not units, they're not destroyed, they're not built. They're here all the time. But the Soviets in the current situation, as I said, have Caterpillar drive, so their SSNs can ignore these and the carrier. They can blow right through and not worry about anything. Diesel boats cannot. So there's that. All right, and I think that's it for combat movement. I believe it is. Is it? I'm looking over here. No, actually, it's not it. We're calling an audible here. This SAM from Southern United States is going to sea lift 1, 2, 3 and go ashore there in northeast Brazil. Now that's it for non-combat. Okay, so we are placing units. Placing units, okay. The 2 SSNs are going to be built at the minor shipyard here in Southern United States. And because they're up here by themselves, they are going to be built in port. There's that. Now the destroyer and the 2 frigates are built at the major shipyard here in Gulf States, and they're joining the fleet. So we'll get them on the card here. The ASF is built at the major airbase there in Great Lakes. And then we have our expeditionary forces being placed. The 2 light infantries are going here to Western Sahara, along with one of the SAMs. And then the other SAM is going to go here in Mauritania. Okay, that's that. Iran did not wish to launch any kind of counteroffensive. So now we have to do a recruitment roll for Iran. "12 does not get the job done. Drag a tripod leg across Israel's mix. All right, so the aid, since everybody's still at peace, well, PRF has 3 SSNs there in A40. And I think those 3 SSNs probably block military aid delivery through that season. I did not look at that beforehand. I believe they would. So we're not going to be able to deliver the mech to Shiraz this turn, because we don't have our military aid delivery has to follow the shortest path, and the shortest path is through the Med and Suez. So yeah, we're not going to be able to deliver that military aid, not just yet. The Americans didn't declare war on PRF. But they did launch a strike against him that PRF defended. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that the PRF subs block the military aid delivery. Okay, so now we are collecting money. So the Americans are at 35, escalation plus 2 is 37. $37 IPP in the bank, along with 3 battle stars. Ozark Outpost. Over and out.